calling People versus Joshua Lanto, case number 21-001844OI. Today is the date and time set for a pretrial.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Lisa Hamami on behalf of White Lake Township.
Good afternoon. Mr. Lanto, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, very good. All right, and this is the date and time set for a pretrial. Note Mr. Lanto is appearing via Zoom conference. Ms. Hamami, did you have a chance to speak to Mr. Lanto?
I did not have a chance to speak with Mr. Lanto today, Judge, but we have made an offer several hearings ago, and that offer has not changed.
What is the offer?
Judge, the offer was if he renewed his driver's license, then I would dismiss that charge and he would plead responsible to the registration plate violation. That was the offer made on September 28, 2021. That remains on the table.
Okay. Mr. Lanto, did you hear the representations from Ms. Hamami?
I did. It sounds an awful lot like extortion.
All right.
So they're willing to give me they're willing to have less bad things happen to me if I just pay money, correct?
No, she said if you're willing to renew your license.
By the way, I'm live streaming this. Do you object to the live streaming? I'll end the live stream right now.
Well, you're not supposed to do it without permission.
Well, I can end it if you'd like.
Well, I really don't have any objection to it, but you're supposed to get permission ahead of time. But the offer, Mr. Lanto, is if you renew your license, your driver's license, she's willing to dismiss that charge.
Okay, well, she could also dismiss this noli prosequi, and we could always come back to this if something were to happen down the road. So what is noli prosequi? Noli prosequi is legalese. It means the prosecutor does not wish to prosecute. Noli prosequi is a legal notice that the prosecutor has decided to abandon the charge. This is what it looks like. This is from a different courthouse with the same charge. And the disposition date was 3/10/2022. 7 days prior to a jury trial, they decided to drop the charges. That court was smart. Okay, well, she could also dismiss this noli prosequi, and we could always come back to this if something were to happen down the road. But if she did that, I could contract voluntarily with the state. I'm not admitting to the charge or that I actually drove without a license. I'm not making an admission here in court today. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say, if you want me to contract voluntarily with the state, I am willing to consider that.
All right. So for today's purpose, it's a pretrial, and the prosecutor is the one that has the ability to make the offer.
Does she want to
dismiss? You can either let me talk.
Sorry.
You can either accept her offer or deny or determine. You can turn the offer down.
Well, is she willing to dismiss this noli prosequi?
I think she said no.
No,
on the record,
I made the offer.
On the record, she's stating no, and she has the power to do that. Correct?
She's on the record, and she stated no.
Well, then I guess we have to move to trial, or we have to get this jurisdiction issue handled as well.
So, okay, so we're going to have to set this for trial. Now, my next question for you is it your intent to hire an attorney, or are you going to ask for a public defender, or are you intending to represent yourself?
Well, I intend to get this jurisdiction issue settled because a few proceedings ago, we were discussing jurisdiction. Miss Hamami claimed that it was on the ticket, and then she said she would mail me discovery evidence, which was the ticket, and nowhere on that ticket did it even discuss the word jurisdiction.
Okay, Mr. Lanto, you can't do that orally. You have to file a written motion.
Well, you said I could do it at any stage of the proceeding, and then you said that the arraignment wasn't the proper proceeding to do it.
You have to file a written motion. But you didn't answer my question. I asked you a pretty direct question, and you didn't answer my question. Is it your intent to hire your own attorney?
It's my intention to not have to come back whatsoever. I don't want to participate in
that
this.
doesn't answer my question, though. Do you intend to hire your own attorney? Would you like me to appoint an attorney for you, or do you wish to proceed?
I don't wish to proceed at all. I'm only here under threats of coercion and duress.
Mr. Lanto, we're going through this again. I'm asking you a very direct question. It just requires a direct answer. So I'll break it down into 3 separate questions. The first question is, do you intend to hire an attorney to represent you? Yes or no? That's all I want to hear. Yes or no?
Well, an attorney to represent you is an oxymoron. An attorney can't represent anybody. I can only present myself as a man to this court.
Okay, so I'm going to say the answer is no. Would you like the court to appoint an attorney to represent you?
I don't want to participate in this at all.
Yes or no? Do you wish to have the court appoint an attorney to represent you?
Well, I don't wish to be compelled to give an answer here either.
All right. Do you intend to represent yourself?
I don't wish to be compelled to give an answer here.
At this point in time, we'll have to set this matter for a jury trial. I'm not going to go forward and appoint an attorney based upon his representations.
Yeah, because I would like to make a verbal motion to dismiss this for lack of in rem jurisdiction, lack of in personam jurisdiction, lack of subject matter
The
jurisdiction.
court is just going to instruct you, Mr. Lanto, that if you wish to make motions, they have to be in writing because both parties have a right to respond. So that I'm not going to let Ms. Hamami make oral motions.
Well, she could always dismiss this.
I'm going to allow you to make oral motions. So we will set this matter for a jury trial. You'll get that notice in the mail. At this point in time, I'm not going to appoint an attorney for you.
Okay,
if you change your mind, you're going to have to contact the court and fill out the proper paperwork, and I will appoint an attorney for you to represent you. You certainly have the right to hire your own lawyer at any time if you so desire.
Well, I have already filed paperwork with the court, and the court said that they received the paperwork. Can we put that paperwork on the record, please?
I'm not sure what paperwork you're talking about, Mr. Lanto.
The paperwork I delivered at the initial arraignment, at the initial proceeding, that I've been told time and time again, we don't have time to to read that into the record. Today, do we have time to read that into the record?
I'm not going to read it. It's not necessary to read it in the record. If you're talking about a document called affidavit of status.
Yes, I would like to read that.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, and the notice of deficiency.
I'm not going to read it into the record. And then there's a notice of deficiencies and irregular.
Yeah, so here's what the affidavit of status says. The affidavit of status says
I'm not listening to that, Mr. Lanto. This isn't the proper time and the proper place.
That's what
it's part of the file. It has been accepted into the file. It doesn't require a response, so I'm not going to let you read it into the record at this time.
So for the record,
Judge, I haven't received a copy either.
But there's no action on it, so it doesn't require a response. It's a filing of documents.
Well, on the notice of deficiencies, it does ask for a response, which I did not get.
It wasn't motioned properly before the court. You filed a notice. And if you did file a notice that required any response, it would have to be served on the opposing party in order for it to be heard properly before the court. So I am going to set this matter for a jury trial. I don't have a date. We'll send you the court date. As I stated, if you wish to have an attorney represent you and you wish to have the court appoint an attorney, you'll have to contact my clerk or come into the court and fill out the proper paperwork so we can get an attorney.
Okay. Hello? And that was it. So anyways, guys, what'd you guys think? So much for a fair and impartial hearing? Yeah, absolutely, right? You're rooting for contempt of court, Taco? Of course you would. They just dismissed me from the court case, by the way, guys.